Hello, and this is using the UI mod 1.8 Ultimate General Civil War on Legendary difficulty. And I'm showing you my opening choices. I'm going to go into Recon. A lot of people don't like Recon, but I'm going to go into Recon. I'm going to get 4 points right at the beginning. Here I am clicking Legendary mode, and yeah, have 4 points in Recon. And next I'm going to take Army Organization to something very high, and then after that Politics, and then Econ. Somewhere in there I'm going to get 4 points in Logistics. And then after all that's done, I'll go into Medicine. So anyway, that's the plan. And my plan is just don't take a whole bunch of losses. So I started with the UI mod, and I didn't know that the one of the settings for fortifications in 1.8 is doesn't work properly, and Pandacrowd has since fixed that. But I take additional losses than what I need to because of this. And what I'm doing here is I am what you want to do is save and then load, and then your units that come in next will be larger. Not exactly, I don't think they're double size, but they're larger, and that makes the battle a little easier. Well, because I have the fortifications set to the new settings in the mod, I'm going to take a lot of losses when I attack the fort. Well, that, and it's not a very good attack. So, but I get out of this battle, and that's all I pretty much want. My units are shot up, but I think all my officers come out fine, which is very cool. So here I just want to attract the attention of the two units that come in, and then kill them. And yeah, the two units on the right, just keep them busy until my reinforcements come in and I can do some damage to those guys. So just having this guy run forward. Yeah, that unit is, he's advanced to kind of a ravine. So that's kind of perfect. We can exchange shots with that guy for a while. And Pandacrowd and Hi Bob Warbob have both talked at length in the discussion about the advantage of using detached skirmishers. I've always used them to get coverage of the battlefield, but the detached skirmishers are incredibly effective. And yeah, just always have detached skirmishers is basically because they perform better than the parent unit, is how I think about it. And also, like when you stack them up, like I have them stacked right there, a detached skirmisher and an infantry, the damage is split, and the damage the detached skirmisher takes is less. So the enemy, every time he fires, he's doing less damage. This is a real game changer. And I was really torn in doing this CSA playthrough or using these new tactics that I've been exploring in the Union campaign, because you know the Union campaign is my thing. I mean, that's what I really like to play, and I have like 1,000 hours just doing the Union campaign. And what I decided was I'm going to like play the mod for this campaign on Legendary pretty much as close to vanilla gameplay as possible. And by the time I get to through First Bull Run, I have all the settings where I want them. So I start off with all the settings turned on, and then I fiddle with them a bit, and by the end of First Bull Run, I have them where I want them. And what I decide is this is going to be as close to vanilla as possible, but with some of the good changes that are in the mod. And then my Union campaign will be pretty much all of the changes turned on. And whatever problems there are, like the fortification thing has already been fixed, and you know, if there's anything else that needs to be adjusted, I really think that the UI mod on the Union campaign on Major General difficulty is going to be like the most immersive campaign you can play. I think that's just going to be a really fun, It's going to feel realistic. It's going to feel immersive. I think it's going to be a great campaign. So I'll play either the Union campaign on Major General or maybe Legendary. I don't know. Legendary isn't terribly realistic, but it is fun. So I'm going to have these guys run because my detached skirmisher is taking a beating. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and get into melee. Now, not in the UI mod, but just in the vanilla game, these two units would probably do better in melee, I think, than in the mod. I mean, they're going to get a huge advantage, but they're not going to be OP. So the one cav unit is very small, and because of that, it's not going to do an enormous amount of damage. Whereas not in the mod, I think that they would just do an enormous amount of damage, more damage. So, but they're doing okay. So, and that guy's in the water, so that should really... melee is much worse when the enemy is in woods, and much easier when the enemy doesn't have cover. So, yeah, that's pretty cool. So he's down to 500 and something, and if we can just not get exhausted, this will be great. So at the end of this video, I'm going to show you the settings that that I end up using. I end up fiddling with them through first bull run, but by the end of first bull run, I've pretty much settled on what I want to play. I'm not sure what charge logic does. The enemy seems to be a lot more prone to charge. So yeah, I turned that off eventually, like by the end of first bull run. It doesn't seem to affect things very much at bull run or at Newport News, but it does affect things here. So yeah, I'm still not convinced about that one. I do turn the fortifications off. I leave artillery targeting on, and I'm not going to turn that off unless I start to notice something weird, like my 24-pound howitzer batteries start to evaporate for no good reason. Something weird happens. Otherwise, I'm going to just leave that on. I end up turning the new scaling off because I want this to be closer to vanilla. But I'm looking forward to my Union playthrough, and I'm going to turn the scaling, set it to the new scaling, and I'm just going to build monster units, and I'm really looking forward to that because I've done a couple of minimal playthroughs, one large Union unit playthrough, but I'm looking forward to... it's been a long time since I took the Union Army to max size, and so I'm looking forward to doing that. I'm looking forward to testing out the new damage curves. So, but in this one, I end up turning it off. And yeah, so we're going to kill this unit, and there's a unit down the corner in the left. And yeah, all I wanted to do was just kill everybody who's here. I wait a long time and then finally launch this attack, which goes pretty disastrous from the beginning. And yeah, his artillery just did an amazing job, and his detached or his skirmisher units are just tearing me up, and they're very aggressive and they want to charge. Skirmisher units should never ever charge into melee. They should not have the capacity to do melee unless they're attacked, and they shouldn't have the capacity to charge at all because that's not what they did. So, but anyway, these guys are going to do what they normally do, and they seem to be more aggressive than usual. So that's bad. And I take a lot of losses here as a result of all of the above. So, and I made a mistake. I thought 3 units could handle this, and the attack on one side, and then my core units would be on the other side, ready to pounce on them when they exited the fort, but that didn't happen that way. So at this point, I'm just planning on 2-to-1 attacks, doing a job on him, but yeah, it just... Yeah, having the fortification settings on, I think, was a big mistake here. I think what you want to do, if you're playing this, is you turn the fortification settings on the mod off for this phase, and then as soon as you take the fort, you turn the settings on. And that'll help you get out of this crappy tutorial battle easier. I did it just the opposite. I turned the fortifications on so that the settings on so that the AI got the benefit of the fort buffs, which are huge, and then I turned it off for myself. So yeah. So you should do just the opposite of that. And I'm thinking, he is just charged with 2 detached skirmishers into my infantry unit, and my infantry unit's going to rout. Yep. Just... That's just some nonsense. So now I'm going to hit him with at least 2 units on 1, drive his infantry out of the fort, because I can't have him in there. I mean, he's just too powerful. So we seem to have this under some kind of control. It's still bedlam, not going well, and yeah, I'm thinking in this game I'm going to do a lot of melee. I should really think about taking the melee perk, because I intend to do a lot of melee. And you're going to see, not at Newport News, but First Bull Run, yeah, there's going to be a lot of charging. And yeah, let's see, I captured more than I've ever captured before at First Bull Run. I mean, it's some ridiculous number. And it's a trade-off, of course. It's, do you... stand and fire into the enemy and build up efficiency and get kills and build up firearms, or do you get a capture? And if you get a capture, what you get is you get weapons, because that's what this mod does. It gives you weapons for captures. And yeah, it's a real tough call, I think. But I think my decision is just get as many captures as possible, and just consistently do that. Get into battle, shock enemy units, and get captures. And it seems to be working. I mean, I'm only First Bull Run, but it seems to be working well. So this is a strategy that Pandakraut came up with to get out of this fort battle. And I do get into the wood line, and I do end up taking out his artillery in the rear with a cav and an infantry unit, kill his artillery. But this is just a bloodbath. And I hope I never have to fight this stupid battle again. So a long, like 2 hours pass, or some very long period of time. So I'm going to, I kind of cut a whole bunch of stuff out. Basically, we just stand here and shoot at this guy. What I really wanted to do was, I'm in the wrong place, and I need to have him come forward and get into the water and do it that way. And I wanted to have more infantry to kind of hit him from all sides, but I didn't have enough infantry to get coverage. So at some point I realized, well, just standing here exchanging shots with this guy is a waste of time. And there's an hour to go, and I think I'm just going to fall back and let him kind of do what he does, which is kind of advance and then reorganize, and I'm going to take shots at him as he does, and we're just going to fall back, take shots at him as this happens. And at this point, the battle's won, and yeah, and we're just going to do it kind of this way. My units are so undersized right now, they're just not doing any real damage to him. Oh, so after this battle, what I'm thinking is normally you try to have your core units that are going to go over to the next battle not take any losses. I have a different idea. I have the idea that my core units are going to take a lot of losses and be undersized, and I'm going to use them as ballast units at Newport News. And it works. I'm able to, by keeping my core units intact and not sizing them up for Newport News, what happens is I'm able to drive down enemy scaling about 4,000. So I'm able to build a much larger infantry force and put it into the battle than I did last time. But the enemy is actually 4,000 smaller than he otherwise would have been. So yeah, that works. Taking these units, because the enemy scales to your average unit size. So my units got shot up here, but I think all my officers got out. And the one allied officer shows up in the manpower pool and in the barracks, and that's great too. So having the enemy come in Newport News 4,000 smaller due to scaling made the battle pretty easy. Actually, the battle at Newport News was pretty easy. It was very easy. It kind of looked like this. Just stand in place, shoot at each other, the battle's over. It's not until we get to First Bull Run that there's enough units and enough killing power. And boy, that is the... I was really surprised at First Bull Run. So yeah, hang around to First Bull Run. I think you'll find it extremely entertaining. I was pretty surprised by the result. Yeah, interesting thing about the Cav, you can just kind of move through infantry units. So if you want to go to the other side, you just tell it to go to the other side. It'll just go through the infantry and pass to the other side. So, unfortunately, I was trying to get 2 to 1, and we didn't get it. So, just charge into this guy. Now, I'm not trying to get my units killed, my allied units killed. There's no reason to do that, because you recover weapons from your allies with this mod. But I'm thinking, you know, there's 26 minutes left. There's no reason not to, you know, close with and get some... yeah, just pound on this guy a little bit. Yeah, we're not going to get flanked. I'm thinking we're going to go down there and charge that guy, and then, nah, why don't we just charge this guy over here? Well, let's charge somebody. Okay, we're gonna fall back to the fort. And yeah, I knew that the distance to the fort would burn up all the time. So not many men made it. Um, but my general is good thanks to the mod. I don't have to replace the guy. So here are the results for the battle. It doesn't really matter. Just get out of the first battle. That's all that matters. So I thought about playing this again, and then I thought, I don't care. I really, really don't care. I just want to be out of this. This will be the save that I use, well, unless my hard drive dies again. This will be the save that I use. All my points are going to go into Army organization, and I think that's the right call in the beginning to get more slots for units. And yeah, all these guys are going to go to. I think I end up putting them in second division, but yeah, they lower scaling for me. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that colonel is a wounded colonel from, well, a lost colonel from one of my allied units, I think. Okay, yeah, those numbers are actually pretty good. 37 to 42. I think they're going to go down actually over the next couple battles. So yeah, 10,174. Your allied units come in, they're just over 600. Okay, here are the settings that I end up by the end of first bull run. So in some of these settings are still not changed or they're different for the next battle, but by the end of first bull run, here's where we're going to. Size degradation curves are turned off. Artillery targeting is turned on. Infantry fortification penalty is turned off. It's broken in 1.8. He fixes it though in the next version. Weapons returns from allies, true. Surrender logic, true. Charge logic, I keep it on through first bull run and then I turn it off. Skirmisher cooldown, false. Shattered units, I don't know what that does, but they return. I don't know what that is. The numbers that are in the mod, I keep them. I don't change them. They're unchanged. So yeah, this is where I end up. And if you want to, dial your game to match mine or be similar, if you replace, say, degradation curves, you can build larger units. Your artillery and your skirmisher units, especially, and your dismounted cav, can be larger, and they'll perform better. So I'm not going to do that in this game, but in my Union playthrough I will. So, CSA Legendary 1.8, thanks for stopping by, and please hang around to First Bull Run because it's a lot more exciting than this battle. And I'll see you there. Thanks.